In Cheflocked, Clarence must cook every recipe in every mainline World of Warcraft expansion in order. Each episode, Clarence cooks in-game first, then I recreate one of those dishes in real life, chosen by you. And today, we begin the next chapter of the journey. Last episode, Clarence pushed deeper into Outland's cooking grind. After finally unlocking Shattrath City's daily cooking quests, we began hunting down some of Outland's most stubborn recipes, dungeon dives, fishing marathons, and daily quest rewards. We cooked our way through Blade's Edge, Neverstorm, Nagrand, Zangarmarsh, and even ventured back into the Eastern Kingdoms, unlocking dishes like Kibler's Bits, Crunchy Serpent, Moknafal Short Ribs, clam bars, broiled bloodfin, and spicy hot talbuk. Dungeon cooking, infernal fired recipes, and hours of fishing pushed the cookbook closer to completion than ever before. But Outland had one final trick left up its sleeve. The last recipe, Storm Chops, remained locked behind a brutal 2% daily quest drop rate. For the first time in Cheflocked history, the decision was made to move on without a fully completed cookbook. So after making spicy hot talbuk in real life, which was a great success, with Outland unfinished, and the fate of the challenge left uncertain, Clarence now waits in Shattrath, ready to take on more daily quests in search for the elusive Storm Chops recipe. First things first though, it's Demon Brawl surprise time. Clarence gets straight to work, cooking up the Moknafal short ribs using the leftover ribs he already has on hand. Then heads out to gather the serpent meat needed to finish today's dish. Meat secured, it's elemental time. At this point, I'm pretty certain the Infernals absolutely dread seeing Clarence crest over the horizon. Let's get this bad boy cooked and try our luck with today's daily quest reward. And nope. Not today. Alright then, it's time for plan B. Once again, it's you guys coming to the rescue. On a recent post over on the YouTube community tab, one of you legends pointed out that the crate of meat can actually be bought right now from the time walking vendor here in Shattrath City. Here's the catch though, Legion time walking is ending in a few days at the time of recording, which means, for the first time in this challenge, we're heading into group content. We've got a few quests to knock out to earn some extra time walking badges, so let's grab those now and queue up for our very first time walking dungeon. While we're waiting for the dungeon queue to pop, let's take a quick look at what we're actually working towards. First up, the quests. These will help us build up some extra time walking badges, which we're definitely going to need. Now over to the time walking vendor, and there it is, the crate of meat, the one that can drop the Storm Chops, which costs 25 time walking badges each. So yeah, every run will matter at this point. Let's see how it goes. First stop is the Shattered Halls. Let's be real, time walking dungeons are always speed runs really, so we're going to fly through these quite fast, fingers crossed. We need to clear 5 dungeons for the quest, which will net us a few hundred time walking badges extra, and anything extra we earn along the way is just a bonus. And honestly, the XP here is insane. Every boss is dropping a huge chunk of experience, and Clarence levels up twice in this single dungeon alone. Next up is the Botanica, another full-on speed run. We level up almost immediately, and not long after that, Clarence picks up a set of fancy robes that are actually better than the ones we're wearing. So I guess this is his outfit right now. By the time we hit the final boss, we ding another level, and we get a quest item that can turn into the time walking NPC for 500 more badges. So we'll definitely take this. Let's turn these quests in, clear out our bags, and get straight back into the dungeon queue. Next stop, the Underbog. Another speed run, another blur, and right at the end, we hit level 40. Back into the queue again, just 2 more dungeons to go until the quest is done. A few minutes later, Kellydan the Breaker goes down, and we hit level 44. Clarence then smashes through the remaining dungeons off screen, and just like that, we're ready to cash in. Let's check the damage. We're currently sitting on 885 time walking badges, which should get us a decent haul of crates of meat. Now, unless something's changed, the Storm Chops recipe still has a 2% drop rate from these crates. So yeah, the odds are absolutely stacked against us. Let's buy as many crates as we can and see what fate has in store. Alright, the first batch is secured. We've got 30 crates of meat in our inventory. No more stalling, let's crack these open and see what we've got. Fingers crossed, ladies and gents, let's go. Okay, mostly meat so far, which is understandable. Some random grey junk, skinning knives. Wait, oh my god, the delicious chocolate cake recipe. Okay, not the one we're hunting for, but this thing does have a 1.9% drop rate. height, which is actually lower than the storm chops. That is insanely rare. Alright, back to reality. More meat, more hooves, nothing else jumping out just yet, and no storm chops. Alright, well we've got a few badges left, so let's grab the last few crates we've got with the remaining, and see if luck decides to show up at the very end. Alright then, the last 5 crates, this is it. Crate 1, nothing, absolutely nothing, and then... oh my god, we did it! We actually got it! Storm chops! Wow. After daily quests, after bad RNG, after dungeon grinding, badge farming, and opening crates like a maniac, we finally did it. The last Outland recipe. The one that nearly broke the series. The 2% nightmare. Clarence just stands there in Shatra for a second, because honestly, we earned this one. Let's get this bad boy learned right away. Let's grab the delicious chocolate cake recipe from the mail, clear out some junk, and get it learned. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking, but Firebeard, delicious chocolate cake is technically a classic cooking recipe, and last episode you skipped a classic recipe, and you'd be absolutely right. But, given how we got this recipe, how absurdly rare it is, and honestly, how iconic it feels, I think it's earned something special. So, we're bending the rules just a little bit. Delicious chocolate cake is officially becoming the first recipe of Wrath of the Lich King. A rare drop, a hard-earned reward, and the perfect way to kick off a brand new expansion. Northrend cooking starts with dessert, and just look at that ingredients list. That has to be the biggest one we've tackled in the entire challenge so far. But first things first, let's get these storm chops cooked up right here in Shatra. There we go. We've still got 5 cooking levels left to go, so let's pull all those extra ingredients from the crates of meat to good use, and let's cook some random dishes to get to level 75. And there it is, cooking level 75, Outland Cook achievement achieved. Outland cooking is finally completed. The missing cookbook entry is filled and the chapter is closed. And at last, we leave Outland behind, at least for now. Our next stop is Stormwind. With the cake recipe added to our tracker, we already have a few of the basics covered. Mild spices and some simple flour are good to go, but everything else, we're going to need to do some shopping and a little bit of gathering. First stop is the nearest inn to pick up some ice cold milk, then it's off to the booze vendor around the corner for a flask of Stormwind tawny, because yes, this cake absolutely has alcohol in it. After that, it's back to our old stomping grounds, Goldshire, to grab some more simple flour, and finally it's time for something bigger. For the first time since episode 1, we're learning a brand new profession. We're picking up herbalism so we can harvest our very own Mage Royale for the cake. Cheflocked rules apply. If we can gather it ourselves, we will. Shortly after picking a few herbs in Elwyn, Clarence hits level 48, but we're not done just yet. We need to grind herbalism a little bit for the Mage Royale for our cake. Time for a little fly around in Elwyn, grabbing every herb we can find and boosting our herbalism level along the way. There we go, that should be enough. Now it's time to head over to Westfall and track down the Mage Royale we need. After a rude Murloc interruption, Clarence finally gets the Mage Royale secured in his bags. That leaves just one last ingredient, the small eggs. Luckily, these are an easy find right here in Westfall. Perfect. All ingredients gathered, time to head back to Stormwind and bake this bad boy. Clarence sets up a fire right in the market district and gets to work. The aroma of freshly baked cake fills the air and 2 achievements pop up. The cake is not a lie for baking the cake itself, and the Outland Gourmet for mastering a long list of Outland recipes. With dessert done, it's time to align the timelines again with Chromie and head towards Northrend. At Stormwind Harbour, Clarence and the gang join other citizens boarding the Kraken, ready to sail north to the icy shores of Northrend. Taking a moment to reflect, Clarence thinks back over the last week. From a passionate amateur chef to fighting enemies, meeting new people and companions, mastering cooking techniques, exploring Outland and its dangers, and now he's stepping into a land full of legends, stories and tragedy, where Prince Arthas once ruled, a man who had everything but lost it all in pursuit of what he thought was best for his people. As Clarence reflects on the whirlwind of the past week, he hardly notices the Kraken docking. Before he knows it, the voyage to Northrend is complete, and he's already breathing in the crisp, icy air of the Borean tundra. Stepping onto solid ground, the first priority is clear: the Valiant Rest Inn. This will be the new base of operations and HQ for the foreseeable future. Inside, Clarence finds salty John Thorpe busy in the kitchen, preparing a tavern's next meal. Unfortunately, John doesn't have anything to teach us about Northrend cooking, so it's time to take a walk around Valiant's keep. Let's see if anyone here is willing to share the secrets of Northrend's cuisine. After wandering around the Lion's Keep for a little bit, Clarence finally comes across Rollick McCreel, the local cooking trainer. It's time to officially learn Northrend cooking and see what this icy land has in store. Wow, just look at all those recipes available starting at level 1. Since we've already made one recipe this episode, let's jump in and learn the first 11 recipes available to us. Baked manta ray, Dalaran clam chowder, great feast, grilled bone scale, grilled sculpin, mammoth meal, pickled fangtooth, poached nettlefish, rhino dogs, roasted warg, and sauteed goby. What a haul. Clarence is ready to get cooking and start tackling Northrend's culinary challenges. While we're here, let's have a quick chat with Old Man Robert and learn Northrend fishing as well, because something tells me we're going to need it very soon. And funnily enough, we need it immediately. First up on our recipe list is baked manta ray. Thankfully, these can be fished up right here on the docks next to the inn. Perfect. It's time to cast a line and see what Northrend's waters have to offer. Thankfully, it doesn't take as long at all. The icy seas are kind to us, and we quickly reel in the manta rays we need, along with a few bonus catches like rockfin grouper, dark water clams, and even some borean man-o'-war jellyfish. Once we've got everything we need, it's time to head inside the inn and get cooking. We fire up the hearth and cook up our baked manta ray right here in the warmth. Lovely. Next up on the checklist is Dalaran clam chowder. A quick look for our fishing haul shows that we already have the clams required for this one, so there's no reason to wait. Let's get that cooked up right now as well. 2 Northrend recipes down already, a strong start and a nice double whammy to kick off our time in the frozen north. Next up on the recipe list is great feast, and judging by the ingredient list, this is basically a roasted meat platter. 4 different types of meat all in one dish. First up is a chunk of mammoth. For this, we're heading to Solazar Basin, where herds of mammoths can be seen roaming around the oasis. The very first kill drops 2 chunks straight away, which is a great start. After scouting the area for a few minutes, we've got everything we need. Next, we're after shoveltusk flanks, so it's over to the Howling Fjord. Thankfully, shoveltusks travel in large packs, so collecting the flanks doesn't take long at all. As a nice bonus, we also pick up some other chilled meat we'll need later, saving us a separate grind down the line. With that sorted, it's time for the final ingredient, worm meat, which sounds delicious, I know. We can find these in the cave system beneath the terrace of the makers in the Storm Peaks. There are plenty of them down here, so within a few minutes we've got a solid stack of worm meat ready to go. With all the ingredients collected, let's set up a campfire right here in the cave and cook up 4 great feasts, fit for a king, as long as you don't tell him what's actually in it. Next up, we need bone scale snappers for our grilled bone scale recipe. These little guys can be fished from the waters below the Iron Wall Dam, just beneath Icecrown Citadel. A few casts in and the waters are already being kind to us again. Before long, we've got 5 fresh bone scale snappers ready to go. Let's set up a fire right here and get those grilled. With another one marked off the checklist, it's time for the next item on our shopping list. Mollusks. We need muscleback sculpins for the grilled sculpin recipe, and for some reason these can be fished up in the waters of Wintergrasp of all places. So here's hoping a max level undead rogue doesn't decide to ruin our day while we're fishing.
Rogues do it from behind.
Clarence casts his line, and almost immediately we start pulling in fish. At first it's nettlefish and glacial salmon, which we'll probably be needing later. A few cautious minutes later, eyes on the horizon the entire time, and finally we land 5 fresh sculpins. With that, Clarence sets up a small campfire again and grills them up on the spot. Simple, clean and delicious. With another recipe marked off in Clarence's cookbook, let's check in on our progress for the first time this episode. Looking good. That's 1 page down with 1 ready to go. We're on a roll. Let's see what dish is next on our culinary journey. Checking back in on the recipe list, mammoth meal is next up on the itinerary. The mammoths we need can be found roaming Zuldrak. After fighting off more than a few undead trolls between kills, we finally have everything we need here. Let's find a safe spot and get these cooked up quickly before the undead get hold of us. There we go, 5 mammoth meals ready to go. That means it's time to head back to fishing, because up next is the pickled fangtooth, which requires fangtooth herring. I'm not gonna lie, this dish doesn't sound great to me. Pickled herring immediately reminds me of Sir Stroming, that infamous canned fish from Scandinavia. If you've never heard of it, look it up. There are some very interesting videos on YouTube about it.
The Fermented Fish Challenge.
With the canned fish discussion out of the way, we head to what is easily the best zone in the game, Grizzly Hills. Clarence finds a quiet spot, perched on a log at the top of a waterfall, and casts in his line, fishing up fresh fangtooth herring in one of the most peaceful places Northrend has to offer. After pulling up nothing but bone scale snapper and glacial salmon for a while though, we finally start reeling in some fangtooth herring. This one definitely took a little bit of time, so I'm guessing we needed to hit a certain fishing level before the herring would even show up. Eventually, we get everything we need though. Clarence sets up a campfire on the rocks overlooking the waterfall and pickles 5 batches of fangtooth herring. Checking the list again, poached nettlefish is next. We already picked up these earlier while fishing in wintergrass, so let's get them cooked up right now as well. 2 recipes knocked out back to back. You'd love to see it. Rhino dogs are next up in the cookbook, so let's head back over to the Borean tundra to hunt down some woolly rhinos, roaming the fields above the beach. These guys have great spawn density and tend to move in herds, which makes this one nice and straightforward. We also pick up some chilled meat along the way, so we'll hang on to that for later. With the rhino dogs secured, Clarence sets up a fire on the cliffs and cooks up 5 batches of rhino dogs. Bangers cooked, and with the gang's bellies full of hot dogs, it's time to hunt down some warg haunches for roasted warg. It turns out we already have a few of these from earlier, so let's head back to Grizzly Hills, where wargs are absolutely everywhere in certain parts of the forest, and just like that, the meat practically froze itself at us. Honestly, aside from a few small delays while fishing earlier, today's cooking grind has been one of the smoothest so far. Having all the recipes available right from the start really does help. Northrend cooking doesn't mess around. And there we go, 5 batches of roasted warg, cooked fresh in the heart of Grizzly Hills. You can't get much fresher than that. Okay then. The last in-game recipe for today is sauteed goby. For this one, we need some barrelhead goby, so let's head over to the Bittertide Lake in Sholazar Basin. Honestly, this place almost looks like a holiday destination, if you ignore the hydras swimming around in the water. After fishing up a bit of junk and a few random fish, we reel in our 4 goby almost back to back, with the last one coming shortly after. Perfect. Let's find a nice spot on the beach, well away from the hydras, set up a fire, and get these bad boys cooked up. And there we have it, the final in-game recipe for today's episode. While Clarence and the gang take a well-deserved rest in the sun, let's check in on the recipe book. And there we go, 2 full pages completed on Northrend already. That's looking very strong. With that out of the way, we all know what time it is. It's time to check the community cooking poll for this episode. You had a triple choice this week between delicious chocolate cake, grilled sculpin, and Dalaran clam chowder. And the winner is, with over 60% of the total vote, delicious chocolate cake. You lot never fail to disappoint. Thankfully for us, the delicious chocolate cake recipe is featured in the official World of Warcraft cookbook on pages 165 to 167, and honestly, it looks like an absolute beast. The intro on page 165 reads, "Although it's a bit tricky to make, there are a few desserts as famous throughout Azeroth as this delicious chocolate cake. With a dash of rose water to replace the impossible to find Mage Royale, and fortified with a splash of port, this recipe is like fireworks of flavour for your mouth." And I'm not gonna lie, that does sound pretty damn good to me. So here we are, back in our IRL kitchen, ready to cook. And here are the ingredients we need for today's delicious chocolate cake. This recipe is a little different from the others, as there are 3 separate parts to it: the cake itself, the frosting, and the filling. Not to mention, this is only the 2nd sweet we've made in the entire series so far, so let's see if we can do this Azerothian dessert justice. We start off by measuring out our double cream, placing it into a saucepan and putting it on a low heat. While that's gently warming up, we melt our white chocolate just a little bit. Once the cream is warm enough, we combine the two and give it a good stir for a few minutes to make sure everything is fully mixed together. Once this is done, we'll place this in the fridge for later. This will be the base for our cake frosting. Next up, we add some chopped white chocolate and warm water into a saucepan and put it on a low heat, stirring until the chocolate is fully melted and the two are nicely combined. Now it's time to start making the cake batter. We combine the sugar and butter in a bowl and mix them together with a wooden spoon until we've got a smooth mixture. Next into the mix goes 3 eggs and the vanilla extract, and we stir again until everything is fully combined. Once that's done, we slowly add the flour into the mixture and start combining until it thickens. We did actually crack our mixing bowl while mixing here, so that's why I'm holding it together like this. As the flour goes in, we also start to add the milk a bit at a time. mixing between additions until everything is fully combined into a proper cake batter. With that done, we add in the white chocolate mixture we made earlier and combine everything together. With the cake batter finally ready, it's time to pour it into a greased cake tin. We do need to make 2 of these, but we only have 1 cake tin that's the correct size, so we'll bake them back to back. With the first cake in the oven, we bake it for around 30 minutes, and once that's done, we add the second one straight in afterwards. After both cakes are baked, we leave them to one side to fully cool down. We definitely don't want the frosting melting on impact with the cake if it's still too warm. We start whisking the double cream and white chocolate mixture we prepared earlier to begin making the cake frosting. With that done, it's time to start making the filling for the cake itself. We begin by combining some sugar, raspberries and port together in a bowl, and then squish the raspberries with a fork until it starts turning into a thick paste. Yes, some of this is filmed vertically. My partner thought we started posting on TikTok for a moment there. Apologies for that. Once that's done though, it's time to add some of the frosting into the raspberry mixture to thicken it up a little. I ended up adding more of this off screen as we didn't add quite enough at first. After that, we take some of the white chocolate frosting and put it into a separate bowl, then add a few drops of green food colouring. This will be the frosting for the top of our cake. Next up, let's add the raspberry filling to the first cake layer and place the second one on top. Once that's done, it's time to spread the main white chocolate frosting around the sides and over the top of the cake, making sure everything is fully covered. With that done and tidied up a little, it's time to add our green white chocolate frosting to the top of the cake, ready for the finishing touches. Some fresh raspberries placed on top. I think that looks pretty good if I do say so myself. With that out of the way, let's cut a slice and have a look. And there it is, delicious chocolate cake. I tried some of this straight away, and I must say it does live up to the name. It really is delicious. The cake itself is moist, the frosting is sweet but not sickly, and the raspberry filling has a slight sour tang to it that brings everything together. If you guys like sweets, I'd definitely give this one a go. And there we are everyone. Episode 8 of Cheflocked is coming to a close. Once again, a massive thank you to Alan Draws over on X for today's thumbnail. A link to his X profile is down in the description, so go show him some love. As always, a huge shout out to my RuneSmith channel members as well. Possum Breath, Spectre95, 424 and Doombox. If you want to get a shout out at the end of future episodes, as well as some other cool perks, check out the join link in the description. If you liked the video, give it a like, and if you aren't already, consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this in the future. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.